Straddling the border of Montana, USA and Alberta, Canada is a collection of magnificent mountain peaks and enchanting lakes that together form Glacier National Park in America and Waterton Lakes National Park in Canada. Hi, we're Matt and Cheryl with We're in the Rockies, and last summer we took an epic 13-day road trip into the Canadian Rockies, stopping in Glacier and the often overlooked Waterton Lakes on our way. So come join us in this video as we drive to the sun, look for wildlife, take the easy way into the mountains, meet old friends, and explore the best views of these parks from the best hotels. Starting in West Glacier, we'll drive the famous Going to the Sun Road, stretch our legs at Logan Pass, take a boat ride at St. Mary's Lake, marvel at Mini Glacier Hotel, and finish across the border at Waterton Lakes. Glacier is really like two parks, east and west. Glacier National Park's east and west sides are separated by the Continental Divide. In the early days, the only way to get from one side to the other was by taking the train around the southern edge of the park on today's Highway 2, or by climbing over the mountains on foot or horseback. But the automobile was quickly being adopted, and the first director of the brand new National Park Service wanted his parks to be accessible to more travelers. Stephen Mather conceived of the Going to the Sun Road, named after a nearby mountain peak, and solicited a few engineers to submit their ideas. One wanted a series of switchbacks going to the top, while the other favored a more aesthetic design, with this turn right here being the lone switchback. Obviously, Mather liked the single switchback idea, and the resulting 8-mile memorable climb makes you feel like you're going to the sun. We've driven several high passes in the Rockies, including the Beartooth Highway near Yellowstone and the Trail Ridge Road in Rocky Mountain National Park. At a peak of 66,000 feet, the Going to the Sun Road is nowhere near as high as those other roads, but it still wins out due to the jagged, glacially carved mountain peaks and the lush trees, wildflowers, and waterfalls along the way. We always take the time to pull off to the side and take it all in. And if it looks too scary to drive, you can always book a famous open-top red bus tour. At the top is Logan Pass, where we're stopping to attempt the elusive Hidden Lake hike. In 2012, snow prevented us from getting to the lake. Our consolation prize of seeing mountain goats wasn't bad. In 2022, the Park Service closed the trail on the only day we could do it. And this year, we drove all day to get here from Utah, and we had reservations for the last boat ride on St. Mary Lake, leaving us only about 40 minutes at Logan Pass. One of my kids had a little issue, so I turned back with him while Cheryl went ahead with the others.
Sometimes some is better than none, and we just went on this big long drive today, and we actually had time to park up here at Hidden Lake at Glacier, and we only had 20 minutes to do it, so we just hoofed it up here as quick as we could, and I'm so glad we did. We didn't get to finish the hike, but we saw beautiful wildflowers, waterfalls, and some amazing mountain sheep. There was even a grizzly bear on the side of the hill, so a really special thing. Even though I look like a crazy woman, I always travel in a dress, and I'm in a dress today, but don't care. Wore my dress, wore my flip-flops, and saw what I could.
Glacier's pristine lakes are best experienced by getting out on them. With 4 boat rides offered in the park, there are plenty of opportunities. We're doing the Scenic boat ride on St. Mary Lake. This valley gets a lot of wind, and while we were waiting for the ride to begin, we got drenched by a mountain storm. But storms often blow over quickly up here, and we were very blessed that our ride turned out to be a perfect evening ride. We're gliding on Little Chief, one of 5 historic boats owned and operated by Glacier Park Boat Company. The Glacier Park Boat Company has been the sole boat tour operator in the park since 1938 and has remained in the same family for the entire time. The captains are typically college students who get to work in the park for the summer and make friends. We've done several of these rides, and each tour guide brings his or her own personality to the tour. These boats are nearly 100 years old, and each has its own names such as Cinnapaw, Morning Eagle, and Chief Two Guns. In this extreme weather environment, maintaining these boats is not easy. Each winter, they are parked in their own garage next to the lake, and each spring they are touched up for the new year with occasional major renovations. It's easy to take for granted the care, love, and determination the family has for these boats and tours. We're closing out our whirlwind day in the exceptionally gorgeous Many Glacier Valley, known as the Switzerland of America. This storybook valley has crystal clear lakes with a backdrop of rugged peaks. We were so fortunate to run into a few roadside bears. The grizzly eluded our camera, but this big black bear seemed to be waiting just for us. The centerpiece of the valley is the Swiss-inspired Many Glacier Hotel. This historic gem is located right on the shore of Swift Current Lake. This hotel was built by the Great Northern Railway in 1915 in an effort to attract visitors to the American Alps. The Great Northern was owned by James J. Hill, one of the most important yet lesser-known industrial tycoons of the early 1900s. I was fortunate enough to be in Minneapolis last summer when I discovered this railroad baron's 36,000 square foot mansion. James built his Great Northern Railroad, spanning from Minneapolis to Washington, into the most successful railroad in the country. The Great Northern happened to travel near today's Glacier National Park. James was all business and wasn't much into nature, but one of his sons was. Louis Hill loved these mountains and lakes and made it his personal mission to get Glacier established as a national park. He not only helped establish the park, but he used the funds from the Great Northern to construct all the lodges inside the park, including his favorite, the Many Glacier Hotel. Every detail about the hotel's Swiss-inspired construction was meticulously planned and executed by Louis Hill. The hotel features a series of balconies, gabled roofs, timbered interiors, and panoramic windows. The hotel, which was never profitable under the Great Northern Railway, was a labor of love. Thanks to Louis Hill, we get to enjoy this treasure today. And today, you'll continue to see tributes to the Great Northern Railway all over Glacier National Park. The hotel offers several educational ranger programs. Tonight we're attending a presentation by our friend Linnea, who is talking about the birds and the bees. Literally, her talk is about mating rituals of wildlife in Glacier National Park. Linnea's parents have been rangers in the park for over 20 years, and Linnea used to be one of those boat captains, piloting Morning Eagle and Chief Two Guns. Linnea helped us write our travel guide for Glacier National Park, and now she's a ranger in the park. Okay, I'm standing in Banff, Montana right now. There's a motel here, a general store, a really cool general store that is turning 100 years old next year. It's actually a really charming little cool general store there. Owned by the same family here. There is a restaurant down the road there. You can see some of the mountains there that are leading into Glacier. Really nothing much else, just a church, and then a little cafe across the street here that is also owned by the same. Stretching from Glacier in Montana to Waterton Lakes National Park in Alberta, Canada, the Chief Mountain Highway connects the two national parks and the two nations. The highway gets its name from Chief Mountain, an imposing and solitary peak that holds great significance to the Blackfeet Nation. It's a constant companion as we drive the road, its profile changing as we move. After we pass through the border checkpoint, we're immediately greeted with a Waterton Lakes National Park sign. Waterton bills itself as where the prairies meet the Rockies. It's overshadowed by Glacier to the south and Banff National Park to the north, but it offers amenities that Glacier doesn't have and way fewer tourists than Banff, making for a very rewarding one-day visit. We visited this little gem last year, and I have to say I liked it even more this year. Like the mini Glacier Hotel, the Prince of Wales Hotel is the focal point here, perched majestically on a bluff overlooking Upper Waterton Lake and the cute village of Waterton. In fact, this must-see building was also constructed by Louis Hill and the Great Northern Railway. It's a historical accident that we have this little gem. It was built in the 1920s during Prohibition, intended to lure American tourists north of the border for a bit of moonshine. Last year, Cheryl and I stayed in one of the 86 rooms that frame in the picturesque valley, and it was one of my favorite hotels I've ever stayed at. From the moment we stepped into the grand lobby, with its soaring ceilings and rustic charm, we're transported to another era of luxury and hospitality. Anyone can visit the hotel. Last year, Cheryl and I joined in for afternoon tea. As a typical American with plenty of German ancestry, I found the whole thing kind of amusing, but Cheryl tapped into her English roots and absolutely loved it. She rated the whole experience a 10, and I have to admit, those tiny sandwiches were pretty good. But this year we went to the more kid-friendly Wieners of Waterton, where they serve a variety of hot dog entrees as well as the uniquely Canadian poutine.
We're actually at the Wieners of Waterton, which we were really excited about, and our hot dogs are good, but the poutine is not good. This is an American girl saying this, but poutine is French fries and gravy and cheese curd, and I don't like it.
Relatively few Glacier visitors make the jaunt across the border to Waterton, but we've found it to be worth it. This year, our parents were with us, and they agreed. It provides easy waterfalls, some nice easy hikes, scenic cruises, and wildlife. Last year, we even saw several bears in the valley. From Waterton, we took the Cowboy Trail to the more famous Canadian national parks, very content to have spent a peaceful day in this little hidden gem on the border.